comes back and gets picked up. But on the other side, for Dignitas there with Tomo and Isles that you kind of mentioned, they've also been really grinding heavily in Champions Queue, which is definitely one of my favorite things. They've been putting in a lot of work, having a lot of success there as well. And again, those bottom lanes, they get the Varus, one of the most sought after bottom lane pickups here.
Yeah, I think early on when we were watching Champions Queue, a lot of the pro bot lanes kind of picked up, hey, lethality is really busted right now, and the marksman that really uses that to great effect is that Varus.
Yeah, and the reason why lethality is so good right now is because they changed it back from being 0.6 to 0.1 scaling armor penetration to just being a whole armor penetration flat. And yes, on the items they did, most of the items maybe reduce lethality by like 2.
Yeah.
That still does not make up for the gap in early game pressure where it's doing more damage. You are getting more lethal with your lethality now. And Poke Varus has been one of the hottest use cases. Speaking of which though, Jhin, another good use case.
Sure.
Jhin burst damage right now with the lethality builds. Definitely through the roof as well. So both of these bottom lanes kind of as expected as we're hyping them up here. Looking to go head to head. And when you have an Azir pick like this, usually you're thinking a Nico counter or an Akali counter or a Yone counter. I'm very excited for Dove, Mask and Dove, both these imports here for both these respective squads. Their coaches have really been hyping them up as super, super powerful pickups for the team, and they're very confident in them. So I'm very much looking forward to what Dove is going to try and counter the Azir with. There are some boring counters, and then there are some exciting counters. Okay, we're going to go with the Corki, and we get the age-old Corki versus Azir, but Corki has gotten some nice synergy with a lot of the new items here. And of course, has even been picked a whole bunch outside of the Azir matchup. So lots of poke damage on the Dignitas squad. They've got what presumably I would assume would be lethality Varus plus a Corki now. Very, very long range. Lots of siege possibilities for them.
Yeah. So now for Dignitas, you want to pair that with strong frontliners that can provide strong disengage abilities to make sure that if Immortals ever try to flank or attempt to disrupt that backline of sieging, you're able to just provide as much space for them as possible. This is not what I had in mind though, Kobe. eXyu locking in the Vi for himself. This means that they want to go all in. They want to find one target and blow them up.
Yeah, Vi is definitely usually a dive-oriented champion. If you use it a little bit more sparingly and they're kind of like you said, looking to deny entry from flankers and stuff like that, then just always use your best judgment. Don't always dive head first with the Vi, because we can definitely see them get way too far ahead of the rest of their teams, especially if their teams are playing the long range. So we'll see about the execution, but Rell picked up, super popular for jungle as well, so very much a flex pick here. At this stage, I would actually even assume that it is more towards the jungle for Armao than it is for Olleh, but Olleh loves playing initiation. He loves playing for kill lanes, so very much could go into his hand.
And then it just gives you so much powerful accessibility to the rest of the map if you want to start roaming early on. If you get ahead with this Jhin lane, and then Olleh is unlocked from the shackles of bot lane, then you start playing towards that top side, especially when the Void Grub starts spawning in the first and the second rotation. That shield breaker on Rell's Q helps a lot in making that Void Grub clear so much faster as well.
Certainly does. The massive monster damage modifier on that thing too that made Rell a jungler in the first place is also always very nice. Anything with AoE is really, really easy grub taking circumstances, as we get a Poppy ban from the Dignitas, or excuse me, the Kalista. Oh, it goes the other way, yeah. Poppy ban from the Dignitas side, and Immortals here. What do they want to follow up this Renata with? Rakan would be a good pairing with the Vi if they wanted to go more that way, but I feel like I agree with you on the more disengage abilities being kind of necessary here.
Gonna go with the Jace, just trying to eyeball what would Rich's best blind pick top lane be, since they've already taken out the Udyr, and Rich was one of the early adopters of Udyr top in Champs Queue that we saw during the off season. That means that Castle, who is making one of the few rookies that we have making his debut in the LCS. We have a lot of questions about this top laner for the Immortals side. Only saw a little bit of what he did in LCK Challengers. And I know a lot of Immortals were facing a lot of speculation and criticism about all the available top laners they could have gotten. It's like, well, why did you pick Castle? It's like, well, we really feel like his personality is what we want for the team. He's very outgoing and he's very good vibes, and it just helps create a much more positive team atmosphere. We even had people talking about like a lot of LCK Challenger prospects, like, okay, if you could bring one other player with you from this league, who would it be? A lot of them did say Castle.
Yeah, Castle. They had some pretty interesting stories about him too, about how he taught himself English with through the use of AI.
Yeah.
Without even speaking to a human in English. He did the interview with Immortals and with their coaching staff, and as you can see, aced it and got the job. So let's see about rounding out this team comp for Dignitas side. If the Scrim gods can bring their Scrim success to the LCS stage here in 2024.
I mean, with the Jax blind pick, they are masking whether this Rell is going to the jungle or the support side of the map. So they're really giving priority over to Olleh and Agency to say, hey, we're going to give you last say and whether you want this Rell or you want something to counter what Dignitas places. And
they did actually end up going with that Rakan combo as well with the Vi. So that opens up some more interesting things. I believe that is just a shout out, although we have seen some really spicy cooking thus far. But Rich, I really want to see if he's going to continue with these specific counter picks, or Cassante is definitely a champion that he had very high mastery of last year and became a very feared pick from him. Gragas is a counter pick. I know that there's some mixed reactions to this lock-in. It definitely is a counter pick, but it's a little bit less exciting and more of the denial counter pick to the Jax, which by the way is one of Castle's main champions.
Yeah.
Perhaps his strongest main champion. So this is definitely Immortals trying to set him up for success, but the Gragas, definitely one that can neutralize early on, and then has really good options for the AP builds nowadays with the new items. And so you can even kind of get shades of old Gragas, adding to some of that poke damage.
The barrel sniper, one-shot combo.
If you got some strong AP on the Gragas, in addition to the Varus and the Corki, there could be a lot of one-shots, long-range combos, and even if you don't perfectly execute, you know, the spread of the ultimate, knocking them away from the rest of their team, allows for that easy isolation for the Vi and the Rakan then to go in and pick off the isolated targets.
And at the very least, it's that disengage that we wanted to see for the side of Dignitas. You know, Rakan kind of plays both fronts and either assisting the Vi and being a dive buddy, or can at least stiff any of the engages that Immortals might have. And this Gragas, that explosive cast, can always create an opportunity for Dignitas to rebound in the fight. But we are on the Rift. Dignitas and Immortals, first look at these two squads, as both of them are heavily concentrated in this bottom side of the map. I wonder if Isles wants to go in for a deep ward, delayed on the invade.
Olleh is back. The first tweet there, shouting him out. And we kind of mentioned a little bit in Champ Select the journey that he's gone through and actually starting out on Immortals. But he talked a lot himself, Olleh, that is about even the benefits of working his way all the way through military service and then coming back to pro play, and how he feels like he really is more focused and it has made him a better player overall. Here's a nice look at the entire timeline that we have. Nice little bookends there.
And during that break time as well, just trying to figure out where his next steps were going to be. But I got a chance to talk to Olleh right before the season started. Extremely outgoing, extremely talkative, and more so confident. Like that, sometimes when you talk to pro players and on their first steps into the LCS, they might be a little anxious or they seem a little more shy or introverted, but Olleh was very, very confident, very sure of himself. So this could be a great look as Olleh and the rest of IMT play against Dignitas, which for at least the start of the split would be perceivable as one of the teams that they could beat more likely.
And I did really want to focus a lot on the bottom lanes for these two teams because of the way that people have been talking about how their scrims have been going. And you saw in our previous game, we had a little graphic there with the mid differences and what the effect on Shopify Rebellion's win rate was. We have the same graphic for Tactical here to see about last year how much of the success did correlate with his personal success in lane. As we're going to go for the multi-camera view first here. Thank you, Kia.
Thank you, Kia.
Beautiful multi-camera setup here as we can keep track of all of them. But for Tactical himself, so much of the team's success really did depend on them doing well in lane and then be able to snowball that they actually won 0 games in which their bottom lane was behind.
Well, it's a good thing we're already talking about bot lane, Kobe, because we had a poll in Twitch chat on which lane you wanted to focus on, and so we have decided that we're going to be focusing on bot lane. Already talking a little bit about Tactical and those games last split where if Tactical was winning or doing well, that's where Immortals got a majority of their wins. If he was not ahead...
In fact, all of them.
Yeah, every single one.
All of them is the majority. That is true. And we'll see about it this time around as they're able to get the early push with the Jhin Rell. And they also have Armao pathing down towards that bottom side on the Maokai. With the phase rush Maokai for the extra movement here to be able to navigate these team fights. Maokai definitely has the really, really strong guaranteed setup there if they do want to have him pair up with Olleh. The flash twisted advance to set up for full Rell combos can be devastating. Plus, they can be a huge teamfight combination, of course, with the AoE.
Armao is called off. I think Immortals knew that there was a ward in the tri-bush from Dignitas' side, so there's no point in wasting his time trying to make a gank that would not work out in the end. eXyu might find himself seeing that Armao is trying to take his chickens, and Armao succeeds.
Nice little job there with the Q plus the smite. Shouldn't be too difficult though for eXyu here, who is another player Dignitas were hyping up, since he is a young North American talent that they have brought up themselves. One of the biggest proponents for his play this year was going to be that he spent most of last year with the coaches, watching their games and talking to the coaches as they saw them play out. And so the coaches are very confident with his view of the game because it aligns very closely with theirs, having spent so much time there reviewing the live ones.
Yeah. And eXyu was the lone member that was kept by Dignitas as their 6-man sub after they let their challengers roster go. They have a lot of faith in this guy, and even though technically he is not a rookie, to me he still feels like a rookie because this is his first official split starting as a LCS player for the team. Obviously, the last time we did see him, we saw him in a lock-in tournament when he was subbing in for Dignitas at the time as well. Came in for Dignitas in the summer of 2022 when they gave their challengers or academy team the opportunity to swap in and just have some games on the stage since it wasn't going to change the outcome of their split. eXyu is someone that has had a really interesting career in amateur and coming up through challenges as well. When he first got onto an academy team, it was, or into like an LCS franchise or amateur pipeline, it was Cloud9 amateur at the time, and then eventually made his way into Dignitas Academy, which he was there for the past 2 years. And Armao was someone who was still kind of like back and forth in between. Sometimes he's in LCS, sometimes he's in Academy. This is a jungle matchup that you would see often during the timeline of 2022 and 2023.
And Armao himself getting those grubs in exchange for the early start on Dragon that Dignitas opted into. As we progress a bit closer, halfway to that level 6 breakpoint, when we get the big engage possibilities. And Olleh, you see on your minimap as well, already trying to roam out of lane. He's definitely a huge fan of trying to make these mid plays. They just get a little bit of vision here though. Isles went straight up through mid lane to answer. And it's another attempt at the Raptor steal. With both the Q from Rell and Maokai, the little Raptors stand 0 chance.
They just get absolutely obliterated. And eXyu is constantly getting his camps taken by this Maokai. And Immortals just using their push advantage to try and continue finding where eXyu is going to be. And this really lines up into how Armao really wants to play the game and really plays into how the map has changed as well. Less chances for strong ganks to be made. And Armao is just continuing to play in that hand by saying, I don't need to gank, I just need to make sure you can't get any ganks off eXyu.
Well, the Tri-Brush ward is certainly going to do that itself as well. As Immortals see the attempt at the pass here. Level 6 acquired for eXyu. He wants to use it.
You flash, he lands it. Mask flashes into the wall, but nice buffer from eXyu with the cease and desist to pick up first blood.
Yes, able to get the Q as well as the ultimate timing, so he doesn't get pushed back there. Nice first blood. They just saw him on bottom lane, and Mask kind of leaves mid lane through the bottom side of it, exposing to that possible gank path. eXyu goes right for it. Mask kind of baited in by the attempt for a ward here. So eXyu says, welcome to North America.
And it's just a great eye from eXyu, just noticing and being able to communicate rapidly with Dove. It's like, hey, we're making this play right now. It's a quick one, don't hesitate. And Dove not having to burn any summoner spells there, whereas Mask burned his flash, means that Dove now should have more pressure in lane and should be able to get the first move as well.
Oh, it's so nice for Corki. Just stacking up the tier, chilling here. Poke damage will be very, very nice. We'll see about the attempted jungle match here with Armao going in to check out the blue buff, though. eXyu does have Smite, but it is unupgraded. So Armao has Smite supremacy here with the 900 damage one, and he's going to be able to bully him away from his own blue buff.
Rich has a nice freeze set up here where he's bullied Castle off the minion wave. Castle's going to be forced to recall, has the teleport so he can get back to top side of the map. But eXyu will be hovering here. I don't know if there's an opportunity to really make anything happen and really put Castle further behind. It definitely seems like a lot of the focus from eXyu has just been trying to hover mid lane so far.
Yep, definitely had a good opportunity there previously. It is kind of one of the underappreciated little aspects, though. Checking your opponent jungler's smite, seeing if he has upgraded it yet, if you have that advantage, trying to bully in. Always work off of your solo lane's pressure when you're going for these as well, so you know that you've got that security, that support. But as we said, talk about the supports and the support roam timer here for Isles. Just gets the one little control ward here, so no extra aggravation just yet. And we'll look towards the next dragon spawn instead.
The second dragon of the game. In the next 45 seconds, Dignitas were able to pick up that first one, whereas Immortals traded the first rotation of Void Grubs. The question is, do Dignitas want to interfere with that second rotation of Void Grubs and ensure that Immortals don't get all 6?
I mean, honestly, yeah, because if you're looking at what Immortals are running here with the Jax, already mentioning, you know, it is one of, if not the most prominent champion for Castle, one he's most confident in. It does scale into a very nice split pusher, and those Void Grubs actually help a lot with the split pushers, being able to take down the towers quicker, being able to push in if they want to try and get that side lane advantage. So dragon stacking is still an issue, but the 6 Void Grubs is such a big deal with the double Void Might spawning. Even if you can only get 5 for the single one, still a very big power spike as well.
Yeah. We'll say, though, that even if Immortals do get those Void Grubs, they have to make sure that they have somewhere that they can absolutely push. And if Castle is far behind here, then it's not going to amount to anything, as Dignitas already on the second dragon.
Yeah, they're going to start it up. I thought that Castle might even invest his own time to try and solo one of the Void Grubs. As a top laner, you can invest a decent amount of time to try and get the single one and not have to deal with the shield, but...
Oh, one more auto attack. Oh, just maybe one more. Rich has flash available, but I don't think he can get a range. Body slam to connect the distance, and it is the barrel that takes out Castle.
Ooh, so much for that Jack split push. Rich is going to put him in the dirt. Still going to have eXyu come over and counter now as well. So guess what? They get the dragon stacking to continue, and they can stop the Void Grubs here. He gets one by hand. He has no smite here for the other two, though. If Armao could actually secure... Everybody's roaming up. They're going to teleport. Full commit for it.
Yeah, they are all inning for a Castle with a teleport. Ensures that even though Armao is not going to be able to get 6 for his squad, he can at least get 5. Now, at least you'll get one of those Void Might spawning in whenever you start hitting the turrets.
Yep, close enough. All right, on the recall, the Sundered Sky completion for eXyu here as well on the Vi, off of the extra money that he got from killing Maskin in mid lane there with that first blood, is going to be a very nice power spike. has his ultimate up and ready again to use, has his flash ready. Vi with both flash and ultimate is just itching to make plays here. So we'll see if he does anything towards the bottom half of the map off of his bottom side's recall, because those first item completions are also coming in. Ghostblade finished here now for Tomo as well.
I have to say that for Dignitas, they've done a solid job of some of the early game plans they've already made. 2 dragons for themselves. They didn't deny all 6 scrubs, but they at least denied 1, so it's only 5 for Immortals. The gold lead isn't massive, but it is 2,000 to their name. The question is, how can they snowball that into a bigger lead? As Isles is going to get clipped, but he has the battle dance to get over to eXyu on the other side of the wall.
All right, no harm, no foul here. They are going to be able to bully them away from the red buff, though, and counter jungle that one. Roam timer for Mask from mid lane, too, means they're going to threaten Tomo. He's a little bit far out in lane, but not far enough for them to make the full commitment. So it's just going to be the red buff stolen.
So far, no really explosive moves made on this bottom lane. Well, I mean, I know that Twitch chat voted for the bot lane to be the focus, but to be honest, not much happened. It was just a lot of handshake farming. It's like, hey, you got some CS, I got some CS too. But Tomo and Tactical have both hit their early Yumu's power spikes. If they start fighting, there will be a decent amount of damage, as Tomo was looking for that chain of corruptions, but Tactical with the sidestep dodges out on an all-in.
Boots of speed coming in clutch here for Tactical. Be able to dodge that Varus ultimate. And they definitely want to make something happen. You can see, yeah. Vi was down here for the lane gank, coming through the brush, popping off the Varus ultimate. Nice little dodge from Tactical, denies everything though, and now it's Immortals' turn. Since they've got the reset here, Olleh comes out with Armao with the big AoE teamfight ultimate combination.
Moving on up towards the Rift Herald. Rich has first move. Castle is just coming from base. They take out the control ward so that they don't have vision on the Herald pit anymore. Armao, Mask, and Olleh are the first ones.
Herald does take a long time to kill nowadays as well, so it's going to be time for everybody to get here. You can see both AD carries walking their way over as well. And it's the slight cooldown advantage of not having the Varus ultimate available for Dignitas. Armao's going to start.
Nice flank ult from Armao. It resets the Rift Herald. Castle is pinching on the top side. Dove is forced to retreat, and Isles is the first one to fall. But they all turn on their Armao, and as eXyu tries to isolate him from the rest of the team, Armao buys some time using the passive to heal up from Tomo, and Tactical steps forward, zoning him off. eXyu with the Q flash lands the damage, but it's not enough as Armao is able to step away thanks to Olleh, bailing him out, and the rest of Dignitas are pushed off the Rift Herald.
Woo, Armao with the slick moves all the way around the rift there, over the blast cones, and Olleh barely being able to peel for him to get him out alive. It's just the 1 kill though. Let's take another look at how they start this fight out. Of course, Varus coming from base, and so Armao's got a really nice angle behind them with the wide ultimate here from Maokai. Starts it out himself. They do get the root here onto Isles. Olleh follows it up with the combination from the Rell, and it's enough first image to get the first kill. Then it's more about the extraction of Armao, since he went in so deep for it. They make him walk all the way around here on the Cloud Soul movement speed of the Rift, and able to peel him and get him out. A lot of summoner spells blown as well, which might be the big wins there, as there is going to be no more flash left on that Varus. Significantly more vulnerable to those big Rell Maokai engages than previously.
You just saw some frustration on eXyu's face there. They invested so many cooldowns just to take out Armao. Tomo even lost both of his summoner spell, whereas now Tactical has both Flash and Cleanse up an advantage. So anytime that they're matching in lane, he gets to play up with more aggression.
I think they know. Because of that team fight, there goes their dragon stacking. Oh, they're gonna fight it. Rich teleporting in. He's got Flash. He can make the plays still.
Can Castle answer? I have no idea. He has teleport available. He's gonna match it now through the red buff jungle. The rest of Immortals are going to play this one slow. Rich is the first one that engages 2,000 HP on the dragon. It's going to be close. A spite was already used, but Armao secures it. Dignitas trade for 2 kills on the Tactical and Olleh. They have a 5-3 advantage. They take out Armao as well. Castle's able to trade one back onto Rich, but the rest of the Immortals is a lost cause as Mask is on the run from Tomo. Castle is sniped out, and Mask falls.
And Dig, it's huge for them. Even though they lose the dragon stacking, they get 4 kills. And they can push up on both outer towers, mid and bottom afterwards. Let's take another look at it as Rich goes in head first. The teleport here down from Castle, and he walks around the bottom side of the dragon looking for the flank. But really it's about Dove's package in. Dove teleporting in up there to the top side behind the blue buff, and then having that big package through the back line, as we don't have the reset button, is able to demolish this Immortals team. Really have to be aware of that big sound call out for the Corki package, and Dove having a good teleport and ultimate back in there.
I will say, I think good use of judgment from Tactical. He knew that he was pinched. There's no point in burning both his flash or his cleanse in that fight. So if they have a more properly structured fight where the front line can actually peel for him, he's going to have these two summoner spells if the fight proves to be more decisive in the outcome of this match.
All right. Trying to get the consolation prize here. Always does feel nice to get a Rift Herald objective bounty shutdown, though, since its base is set at 500. The bigger base for those objectives, but rich under tower.
This is a tanky Gragas, so he might be able to sustain himself for a little bit of time, but there's so many spells being used onto Rich, and eventually, oh, but Arms comes in from Fog! The Battle Dance Flash keeps Rich alive, and Mask is in trouble as he falls to the turret! Dignitas pull the hood over Immortals' eyes, but Tactical ensures that they get one out of the trade, and Isles will have to walk away.
Valiant effort there. Isles delaying the death of Rich, saving him for so long, and they get the counter kills. Meanwhile, their team are just demolishing the base of Immortals. This one's going to get chunked down as well.
That's great for Dig. Inhibitor turret already fallen on the top side of the map. Great trade for them. Rich just buying as much time as he could. And I don't know how the hell Isles got all the way from mid lane to bot lane so quickly, but that really saved the play for Dignitas, and that just puts them so far ahead. 7,000 gold now on their side.
Yeah, I mean, the bubble support item is as well. The blocking the damage is actually quite nice. We're going to see it be very meaningful here as Isles comes in. He hits Rich with the shields, as well as Rich trying to get his self-healing off, but the beginning is him just getting pummeled under tower. Pure CC. Isles comes in, gets the Locket shield, gets his Battle Dance shields, and Rich is able to delay for quite a long time until you get hit with the sniper. In comes Tactical. And it's really about the map movements during that replay, though. What it really means for the rest of the team is they push down both mid and top side. Rest of the team laughing as he is able to delay.
I mean, that was definitely, I can imagine in comms, it's like, Rich is like, okay, guys, I think they got me. And I was like, hold up, I got you. And then you just say, wait, Rich is not dead. Oh, this is great. It's just fantastic for the side of Dignitas. Is now they're prepping vision control, completely lighting up this blue buff quadrant on Immortal's side. The next dragon is spawning, of course, in the next minute. That is the next play. It doesn't mean soul point for either team yet, but if Dignitas get it, that is further pressure on ensuring that Immortals are going to have to fight them sooner or later.
Yeah, and it's going to be difficult when they do, because they're really about two possible ways out for this game. Could they get some Jack split push pressure in the side lane? With the start that they've had, it does look pretty rough, and he's on Trinity Force and a half basically here, trying to work his way towards a Titanic Hydra follow-up, but is a decently long way out. And then the other options are the brute force with the Maokai and the Rell combination, but since they're so far behind, and since Dignitas has so much poke damage beforehand, you don't have a lot of time to pull the trigger on that flank. You have to invest a lot to even be able to get an avenue to flank to try and clear out a ward path and a vision path to be able to do that. And then the team you're trying to do it into is currently in a very advantageous position with all the extra gold that they have. You know, especially eXyu, this young talent that we're talking about, Dignitas really trying to nurture and bring up here. Having a very good start on his Vi. And his Black Cleaver also being done in addition to the Sundered Sky.
Yeah.
Puts him in a very strong position. Teleports come in. They do not want to let Immortals anywhere near this objective bounty shut down.
It doesn't seem like the Immortals will be able to contest this dragon. And I just want to go back to eXyu at the beginning of this game. As we talked about it before, eXyu versus Armao was a very common jungle matchup that we saw at the top in Challengers. Mostly in 2022 before Armao got his break with Evil Geniuses in summer 2023. But the thing about that was so characteristically different about Armao and eXyu, Armao was always known as the control junglers. Like, I'm preventing and making sure that things don't happen for my winning lanes. eXyu relied on explosive moments and just finding pockets of fog where the enemy thought that they were safe, and he would just no thoughts, no hesitation, be able to react. We saw that the first few minutes of the game, everything was quiet, and then suddenly eXyu pounces on Mask when he went for that ward, and that advantage led to Dove being able to be so far ahead. And this has created such a snowball advantage that has slowly crept up over the back half of this 20-minute game.
Yep, it's painful now because the Malignance just synergizes so well with Corki, leaving those pools all over the place, reducing your magic resistance. That plus the poke damage coming from the Varus, who is 3 items here and almost also has his Muramana transformation. A little bit more ways there for Tomo to go, but there's the initiation. eXyu's in.
And he can't even get a chance to pop flash. He uses the cleanse, but it's to no avail. He still goes down. And Immortals, they've lost out on a major damage source. And as you called it, Kobe, they're just going to run it down mid.
Blue team's turret.
All right, they've got 2 little range minions there trying to push with. And Mask here trying to delay, pushes on the bottom side. He does have a teleport of his own to try and escape, but Rich is going to get down there pretty quickly.
Is Mask in trouble? He should have this turret, so Mask is able to back off, still has teleport available if he needs to join a fight that Immortals want to pull in mid lane, but they have to be careful still. The wallet diff is still on Dignitas' side. They don't want to take necessarily an even fight. They always want to try and surprise them with flanks instead, using their teleports.
Yeah, the thing too with Immortals is you don't even want to really show your face too often towards this Dignitas comp, or your chances of winning drop with every skill shot that lands on you. So it's so difficult when you have to stay hidden. You don't want to even have your front line in range of Corki and Varus poke to get chunked down before the team fight.
Yeah.
Yet you also have to be really ready to jump on any opportunity that looks like a possible good engage for you, so you can try and get back into the game. The only way you get back into the game is making a big play.
Yeah.
That is a big initiation and an all-in commitment for your team. So it's just, you're kind of peeking around corners, hoping that Dignitas will expose an angle for you to make that big dream comeback play, because the split push option isn't really there, nor is the possibility of soaking poke.
Yeah. And at some point as Immortals, you're just gonna have to flip it. Like, you cannot just bleed out slowly at this point, because with the siege composition that Dignitas have pretty much scaled into, it's just harder and harder to really force front to back fights if you're taking an HP disadvantage to start off with. So Immortals, I don't know who is going to be in comms just saying, guys, I don't care if we're down 5k gold, we need to take this fight right now and just make a quick play.
Yeah, they're really going to have to work around the Corki package timing as well. That's the benefit here for Dignitas. They can leisurely take away. Oh, never mind. They're going to go right now.
They're going right onto Armao, but eXyu is diving deep onto Tactical, flashes away as he realizes that he overextended too far, and he gets punished. Can the rest of Dignitas salvage this play? It's still 4-on-5 against Immortals. Castle tries to flash, but misses the Counter-Strike stun. Tactical opening up with the Curtain Call, gets some decent damage onto Dignitas. With the Dragon spawning in 1 minute, it doesn't mean that Dignitas cannot contest, because eXyu will still be back up.
That is definitely a huge, huge kill here for Immortals, though. Very necessary to even get any extra money back in their pockets, and getting the little shutdown there onto eXyu, plus the flash off of the Vi, making it a little bit less dangerous for their carries next time around for that dragon fight that will come afterwards. With Mask and Tactical this time around both having their flashes, and not having to worry about the Rakan regular flash, although it does have Hex Flash, or the Vi flash. Maybe they can actually set something up here. So sent Jax to the top side here. Again, Castle used his teleport there, so won't have the teleport to delay his arrival to the dragon, and is going to have to roam down first.
Rich already trying to be the front line to buy space and see if they can get into the river. Olleh engages on the Isles and Rich. Explosive cast, punts Tactical away so he cannot put damage into the front line. eXyu is here looking for Olleh as he's in dismounted form. Armao's going to throw out the ultimate. Rich tries to engage on the castle, but now he's really far away, forced to flash, but he just might burn down. Mask turns around with the Great Emperor's Divide. Rich is back into the play, but the rest of Dignitas are on the retreat. Armao's leading the that charge, and they bully Dignitas out of their own jungle.
Really good decision making from Immortals. They know they don't want to wait for Dignitas to set up. They don't want to take any poke damage. So Olleh, they start out the fight towards mid lane. Immortals are going to get that shutdown. They're going to deny the Dragon Soul, unless eXyu does something truly crazy. Very much doubt he goes in there though, and it is. Immortals get the objective bounty shutdown. They deny the soul point, or they deny the soul again, and they take this opportunity. Before fully set up here for Dig, before Dig can get any poke damage off, they force the fight, and then Dignitas kind of go for the re-engage themselves. I think they probably should have backed off here, Dig, but Rich actually goes in on Castle during the Maokai ultimate, and then he kind of has to flash backwards. But Immortals have really good positioning for their carries to be able to hit, and Mask just goes in with the Azir, gets the swipe back on the key target there. They take down Dove, they take down the Corki.
And Mask being the sacrificial lamb there for the play. Yeah, he goes down, but it ensures that Dignitas do not get soul for themselves, and Immortals buy themselves a little bit more time. But Dignitas now have started up this Baron. Immortals have decreased the gold lead that they were trying to surmount. It may seem a little more playable now as they're wrapping on up. This is the territorial Baron. It's got to be careful whenever they are grouping up, as they can be pulled right back into the Baron Asher itself, as Armao throws out the ultimate, and that's going to reset the Baron.
Good non-committal defense here from Immortals, because they are still wary of Corki package. They don't want to dive headlong in.
Oh, package used on the Castle. He's caught out. He has no flash. Rich can zone him with the barrel. Castle's only choice is to go back in, but he's got nowhere else to run. Great pickup by Dignitas.
All right, they're going to restart Baron then. That's a really big pick. No Jacks down for a good 40+ seconds here. They're already heading back over to the Baron. Immortals make a beeline towards mid lane. The idea to push out the minion wave here and try and set themselves up with a way to enter towards Baron and contest. Try and go for the 4v5.
No Armao ultimate available. It's up to Olleh with a Magnus Storm, or if Mask makes a hero play with the Ember's Divide, they turn right onto Armao. Isles looks for Mask. He's able to distance himself away. Armao is frontlining and absorbing as much damage as he can. Rich almost critical onto Armao. Olleh taking a lot of damage from Dove. These rockets are pelting and putting in a number onto Immortals' frontline, but they stop the Baron, and Dignitas don't get anything out of it.
Defense for Immortals is the name of the game. They make another strong defensive stand here. 4v5. They delay, and even with the guaranteed engage of the Vi, they're still able to back out and kite long enough, stop the Baron without any extra casualties.
And it's good for Immortals. I mean, they're just continuing to buy themselves more time. And it's not like they don't have scaling beneficial on their side. Mask is slowly acquiring more items. He is 3 items on this Azir. He's matching almost Dove, not quite at item parity. But this Azir will hurt as long as Armao and Castle can stand in front of this squad.
All right, probably should be the same game plan here for Dignitas, though. Stack up, take over vision control here through the red quadrant, start trying to poke them down. Dove, level 16 on the Corki, has his fully operational rockets. The big ones coming through and leaving a mark for sure. Isles here trying to creep his way up as he waits for the rest of the team to fully pressure them out of the jungle. They don't quite find the ward through Krugs, but it's not the most meaningful of wards here leading up to Baron.
And Dignitas can try to stall this out. They don't necessarily have to go for the Baron. The Dragon is spawning in the next minute and a half at some point that they feel like they can just drop control over, as Armao finds an engage on the Isles. He pops the quickness, charms up the front line. Armao's taking a lot of damage. eXyu finds the target onto Mask. Beautiful cast from Rich, and that's the punt that they needed. Mask goes down, but Tactical's firing bullets from the other side with the curtain call. Rich is still frontlining forward, forcing Castle to flee. In the end, it's still a 1-for-1 as Immortals trade out Mask for Isles.
Yeah, definitely beneficial here for Dignitas, taking down that Azir. Trading out their support instead. eXyu barely survived, by the way. The last little remnants of damage from the Ignite, not enough to take him down. And they're going to opt for a reset to set up for Dragon Soul opportunity again. Can Immortals pull off another defensive stand? Can they deny another Dragon Soul here?
And at some point, I wonder if Dignitas need to start setting up objective control a little bit earlier so that both Tomo and Dove can get this poke down and really force Immortals off to make sure that their engage is not as advantageous as it could be. Immortals still have control of this Baron side as they need to get into the pit to take out this last control ward. But Dragon is spawning in 7 seconds, and Immortals are nowhere near. Looks like they could just solo down this Dragon. Immortals have to make a choice. Either try to make a call for the Baron or look for this mid turret, because this Dragon is just going to get soloed out.
Yeah, I think the Dragon is probably gone here. You'd have to work your way through this poke wall, and it is going to be the sacrifice of the Dragon Soul in favor of positioning. At this point, they know if they lose a big team fight, it could be the game over.
Oh, explosive cast on the tactical. Forced to use the flash. Still doesn't have cleanse available either, so that is both summoner spells down on this Jhin.
Definitely value ultimate there from Rich. Little bit lackadaisical movement there, and tactical out on the side. It loses both sums. You know Dignitas now want to pressure it hard here around Baron. Moving up on them. They've got the extra speed with the Dragon Soul. They're going to turn their sights towards the vision clearing.
And eXyu with this Anathema's Chains, I imagine that is probably for tactical. He already has Merc Treads and a Spectre's Cowl for the defensive damage reduction against Mask. The Anathema's Chains will ensure that a lot of his CC will land and try and give tactical as much time being stunned and locked down for the rest of his team to follow up and try to prevent that damage reduction so that he doesn't get blown up on pawn entry. And knowing that both of his summoner spells are gone, I imagine that Dignitas, as soon as they see tactical in range, everyone's going to say, just dogpile on this guy and try to end the game after.
All right, 3 members of Dignitas left around to try and defend the vision that they put up around Baron. But Immortals are just going to try and push in here. Olleh doesn't feel confident enough to take down any of these control wards, and so Dignitas will retain that power around Baron as they got their resets off on their key members. And we're looking almost towards a full build there for Dove. He picks up the No Magic Mantle with the last little bit of inventory space here for himself on the Corki. They push it out. He's already maxed out level 18. They can retreat back to the Baron. With his Corki package, just rinse and repeat. Spam out these rockets, spam out that poke damage, and look for your angle. Package is ready, Isles is ready.
Dove is waiting in the fog of war, just waiting for Tactical to step on up. He can try to solo him out. He spots Tactical, and he knows that he's separated from the fight. Tactical is zoned out. He can't really contribute anything. Mask gets blown up. Only contribution is that Emperor's Divide, but 2 members are already gone from Immortals' side. Dignitas push Immortals out of the jungle, and they're going to turn right on back to the Baron.
Yeah, they have a beeline on Mask. They take him down. Another one. eXyu goes right for him with that Vi ultimate. Mask did not get to do much at all that team fight. Just absolutely assassinated, and it means Dignitas will definitely be able to pick up their Baron. And after they reset one more time, they'll be inside the base. They'll be taking down these turrets.
And this is where, once again, the siege composition really feels at its peak. You have all these long-range poke spells, maxed out Corki, maxed out Varus. They're going to be hitting you with spells from a range that you can't do anything about. And Immortals are limited on options on being able to stop them.
They certainly are. All right, here it comes. Teleport out for an even quicker push of mid lane there. While the rest of Dignitas heading here towards bottom lane. They're going to push on 2 lanes. Knock, knock. Here they come. What will you do, Immortals? The defense, they've had some good defensive plays here to stall it out, to buy themselves some time. And they know they can't wait around.
They know a quick play has to be made here. They see Rich all isolated in the mid lane. No flash to be used. He tries to use it at the last minute. But that's a clean kill onto Rich. They used a couple of resources there to make sure that they made the kill down, but at least it's a 5-on-4 in this bottom lane.
All right, Immortals. One more. Here they go.
Curtain Call opens up, finds 1 bullet on the Dove. The second bullet connects. eXyu will block with the 4th bullet, but that's still a lot of damage that Dignitas have suffered.
Key delaying defensive picks here for Immortals. Again, they go after the split pusher. They go after Rich in mid, and they put a stop to the Baron pushing. Objective bounties are up, so if you can keep making these key plays like that during the prime pushing windows of Dignitas, buying yourself a lot of time, keeping that hope alive here in day 1 of LCS.
And both of these teams just fighting through to make sure that they can pick up this win, as with a shorter amount of games in the total split. Every game, as Jatt pointed out, every game counts even just more. And with the Elder Dragon coming up, if Immortals can last long enough, that could be the one turning point, the one key that lets you back into this game. One flip is all it takes to turn this game around.
Return to the same game plan. Pushing up three with up mid with 3 now though instead. A little bit safer here. As Tomo and Isles going to shadow Rich, but Olleh goes for it again.
Armao throws out the ulti. Rich front lines it. eXyu flashes forward, looking for Mass. Isles follows up. Mass tries to push him away with the divide, and he's trying to run away, but he's got limited frontline help as Tomo isolates him out. Multiple knockouts being thrown into the front line of Immortals. Tactical steps on back, uses the curtain call, but to nothing. Castle is gone, and the rest of Dignitas will push on forward for their first win in the LCS.
They've done it with that one. This time around, they defend Rich. Everybody comes to the mid lane, and Dignitas will claim their victory.
Fantastic game for Dignitas. A couple of stumbles in the mid game there. Great defense by Immortals a couple times, but Dignitas, through thick and thin, endure and are able to pick up their first win in the LCS.
Shooting gallery here.
Oh,
the
man.
poke team looking for another one.
Trying to avoid all the pokes. Like, guys, just end the game already. Come on, leave me alone in peace. But smiles all around from the Dignitas squad.
And honestly, really big spotlights were on the younger players there. eXyu with his path towards mid got the kill early onto Azir. You know, Dove got to scale really easily and nicely there with the Corki in mid lane. Pretty smooth operations here for Dignitas. Tomo deathless in the bottom lane in their first game as well, with Twitch chat voting to keep the camera down there, and definitely got their rewards. Dignitas on the board, 100%.